in the cutthroat, unforgiving landscape of the National Basketball Association, where the pursuit of glory often feels like an endless, agonizing climb. How much are you willing to sacrifice to finally escape the gravitational pull of mediocrity? For a franchise like the Sacramento Kings, burdened by a playoff drought that stretches back to a bygone era, the answer might just be everything. Today, we dive headfirst into a whirlwind of a trade proposal, a three-team blockbuster that promises to shake up the Western Conference and potentially, just potentially, alter the very destiny of a team desperate for a taste of postseason success. For years, the Sacramento Kings have been the NBA's poster child for futility. Since the 2006 to 2007 season, they've made the playoffs a grand total of once. Think about that for a moment. Nearly 2 decades of dashed hopes, rebuilding efforts that fizzled, and a fan base that has clung to optimism with a tenacity that borders on heroic. Last season, the sting of elimination in the play-in tournament was a fresh wound, a cruel reminder of how close, yet how far, they remain from true contention. This summer, the Kings have been active, bringing in players like Dennis Schroeder, Nick Clifford, and Maxime Reynaud, all in a concerted effort to finally upgrade their roster around their core of Domantas Sabonis, DeMar DeRozan, and Zach LaVine. The objective is clear, and the desperation is palpable. Make the playoffs and make them now. But what if the path to salvation isn't through incremental additions, but through a seismic shift? Sports Illustrated's Jackson Caudell and Rohan Raman recently unveiled a mock trade that is nothing short of audacious, a complex three-team dance that could fundamentally reshape the Kings' immediate future. Let's break down the intricate moving parts of this proposed blockbuster. At the heart of the deal, the Sacramento Kings would make a bold move, sending veteran star DeMar DeRozan and promising young guard Keon Ellis to the Boston Celtics. In return, the Kings would receive a significant haul: Anfernee Simons, the talented guard from the Celtics, along with a highly coveted, unprotected 2027 first-round pick. But the trade doesn't stop there. To facilitate this intricate exchange, the Atlanta Hawks would also get involved, acquiring Terrence Davis from the Kings and 3 second-round picks from the Celtics. In exchange, the Hawks would send Georges Niang to the Kings and Sam Hauser to the Celtics. It's a dizzying array of talent and assets changing hands, a true testament to the creative, sometimes convoluted nature of NBA deal-making. For the Sacramento Kings, this trade represents a monumental gamble, but one with the potential for a truly transformative payoff. The acquisition of Anfernee Simons would address what has been a glaring, persistent need for the franchise: a dynamic, starting-caliber point guard. Simons, a player of immense offensive talent, possesses the scoring prowess, playmaking ability, and shot creation skills that could immediately elevate the Kings' backcourt. He's a player who can get his own shot, distribute effectively, and stretch the floor with his shooting range. If this trade were to materialize, Simons would undoubtedly step in as the presumed starting point guard, likely replacing Schroeder, providing an immediate upgrade in offensive firepower and a more reliable primary ball handler alongside Sabonis. This isn't just about adding a player, it's about filling a foundational void that has plagued the Kings for far too long. Moreover, the inclusion of an unprotected 2027 first-round pick from the Celtics is a massive coup for Sacramento. In the NBA, unprotected picks are gold. They represent future flexibility, the potential to draft another cornerstone player, or a valuable asset to use in future trades. For a team that has struggled to build through the draft and consistently missed out on high-end talent, securing an unprotected first-rounder, especially from a team like the Celtics who are currently positioned for sustained success, is a strategic masterstroke. It provides both immediate impact with Simons and crucial long-term optionality. However, every bold move comes with a cost, and for the Kings, that cost is significant. Parting ways with DeMar DeRozan means losing a proven veteran scorer, a clutch performer, and a respected locker room presence. DeRozan's mid-range mastery and ability to create his own shot have been vital for the Kings, especially in late-game situations. His leadership and experience are intangible assets that are difficult to replace. Furthermore, the Kings would also be giving up Keon Ellis, a young guard who has steadily developed into a valuable rotational piece. Ellis's defensive tenacity and improving offensive game have made him a fan favorite and a player the Kings clearly believe in, as evidenced by their previous reluctance to include him in other trade discussions. Sacrificing both DeRozan's veteran stability and Ellis's youthful potential is a high price, a clear indication of just how desperate the Kings are to change their fortunes. Now, let's turn our attention to the Boston Celtics, a team that has already undergone significant roster changes this offseason. Boston famously acquired Simons earlier this offseason when they traded Jrue Holiday to the Portland Trail Blazers, a move that signaled their intent to retool their roster while remaining competitive. The idea of immediately flipping Simons after just acquiring him raises a significant question mark. Why would they do it? The Celtics are still positioned to compete in the Eastern Conference, even with the devastating news that Jayson Tatum is set to miss the entire season due to a torn Achilles. This injury creates a massive void, and while DeRozan could be a solid addition to their roster, providing much-needed scoring and veteran leadership in Tatum's absence, swapping a young, high-upside player like Simons for an aging DeRozan might seem counterintuitive for a team looking to retool. The Celtics' calculus here is complex. On one hand, DeRozan offers immediate, proven scoring and a veteran presence that could help steady the ship in Tatum's absence. He's a player who can create his own shot and take pressure off the remaining stars. On the other hand, Simons represents a younger, more long-term asset, a player who could grow with their core for years to come. Giving up an unprotected first-round pick on top of Simons for DeRozan, especially when they're trying to retool, feels like a move that prioritizes immediate, albeit temporary, relief over long-term strategic planning. It would suggest a belief that DeRozan's veteran savvy and scoring punch are absolutely essential to keep their championship window open, even if it means sacrificing future flexibility and a promising young talent. The Celtics' willingness to make this move would largely hinge on their assessment of DeRozan's fit and their level of concern about remaining competitive without Tatum. Finally, the Atlanta Hawks' role in this trade is more of a facilitator, but still impactful. They would acquire Terrence Davis from the Kings and 3 second-round picks from the Celtics, while sending Georges Niang and Sam Hauser to their respective new teams. For the Hawks, this move is about accumulating draft capital and potentially acquiring a useful rotational player in Davis, while shedding a couple of pieces that might not be central to their plans. The second-round picks offer future flexibility, allowing them to either draft more young talent or package them for other assets down the line. It's a less flashy move for Atlanta, but one that aligns with a strategy of asset accumulation and minor roster adjustments. Ultimately, this mock trade is a fascinating thought experiment, highlighting the desperate measures teams are willing to consider in the relentless pursuit of success. For the Sacramento Kings, it's a high-stakes gamble to finally break free from their playoff purgatory, trading a respected veteran and a promising young piece for a dynamic point guard and invaluable future draft capital. For the Boston Celtics, it's a perplexing decision that would prioritize immediate veteran impact in the face of a major injury, potentially at the expense of a young, ascending talent and future assets. And for the Hawks, it's a shrewd move to gather more draft picks and adjust their roster. The NBA offseason is a chess match, and this proposed trade is a complex, multi-layered move that could redefine the board for all 3 franchises. It underscores the constant tension between immediate gratification and long-term vision, between holding on to what you have and daring to reach for what you desperately need. What's your gut feeling on this proposed blockbuster? Do you believe the Kings are making the right move by going all in for Anfernee Simons, even at the cost of DeRozan and Ellis? And would the Celtics truly be willing to part with Simons and an unprotected pick for DeRozan, especially with Tatum sidelined? Share your thoughts, predictions, and any other trade ideas you have in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the NBA's rumor mill, please smash that like button and subscribe to our channel for more exclusive and dynamic basketball analysis.